Hello, it is 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines, we have the State Secretary for Sports visit Hayableh to carry out a survey of sport facilities. The standoff is intensifying against the backdrop of migration crisis in Spain. Welcome to our newsroom. On the sidelines of the summer tournament held in Hayableh, the State Secretary for Sports, Fatuma Ali Abdallah, accompanied by a delegation from her department and in the presence of the President of Balbala, Mohammed Hassan Saeed, conducted a field visit dedicated to identifying and cataloging local sports facilities. This initiative aims to assess the current state of existing sports fields in the various neighborhoods, evaluate their condition, and identify their needs for development and renovation. Through this site visit, the State Secretary for Sport intends to obtain a more precise map of local sports infrastructure in order to better guide future sport efforts to rehabilitate and develop sport facilities. This initiative also reflects the desire to bring sports activities closer to the people and to provide young people in disadvantaged neighborhoods with a suitable, accessible, and safe space to practice their chosen sports. On the ground, the State Secretary was able to directly observe the realities and needs expressed at the local level, thus reaffirming the importance of a sports policy that places local areas and community at the heart of its priority. This concrete approach demonstrates the commitment of the State Secretary for Sport to making the development of local infrastructure a key driver for the democratization and decentralization of sports participation. As part of the implementation of the 2026 summer activities, the Ministry of Youth and Culture, through the Directorate of Youth Social Integration and Volunteering, continuing its programs of activities at Sheikh Moussa Community Development Center on the afternoons of Friday, August 7, 2026. This event was marked by sustained participation and evident enthusiasm from young people for programs that combined sports, culture and recreation. Is on the agenda football, and a table tennis tournament, as well as traditional dance sessions, which are generating increasing interest among the young participants. Through this dynamic 2026 summer activities offer young people a structured framework to express their talent, develop their creativity, and cultivate the values of solidarity and teamwork beyond mere entertainment. This initiative contributes to a policy of constructively utilizing leisure times while fostering dialogue, connections, and social cohesion among young people. On the ground, the ministry's team spoke directly with the participants and center staff, inquired about the activities, and gathering feedback from the youth. They commended the young people's commitment and strong participation, encouraging them to maintain this momentum and fully engage in the various activities scheduled through the summer. In Sheikh Moussa, the Community Development Center thus confirms its role as a local resources serving young people. Sports, culture, leisure, and talent discovery come together to offer young people an environment conducive to personal growth, learnings, and the development of new skills. The Community Development Center are therefore fully realizing their potential as a space for channeling youth energy through healthy, constructive, and value-driven activities. And traffic accident at the Dorale roundabout on Sunday, August 9th, 2026, at approximately 12 p.m., a heavy goods vehicle carrying a container overturned on the road while traveling at the Dorale roundabout. Following the accident, the drivers who remained in the cab had to be extricated immediately before being taken to the hospital in critical conditions for treatment. The gendarmes from the road safety squadrons were quickly dispatched to the scene and carried out the standard procedures to determine the exact circumstances of the accident. Given the positions of the truck and its container, the National Gendarmerie cranes was brought in to right and remove the truck and its container. Through the intervention, the gendarmes of the PICA 12 Road Brigade ensured the regulations and securing of traffic around the roundabout in order to allow the operations to take place in good conditions and to limit traffic disruptions. This Sunday, August 9, 2026, around noon, a heavy goods vehicle and Ethiopia has inaugurated a new passenger terminal at Djibouti International Airport in Bahir Dar as part of its effort to modernize its air transport infrastructure and strengthen connectivity between the country's various regions and with the outside world. The new facilities is intended to improve the airport's capacities and accommodate the gradual increase in air traffic as the Ethiopian government seeks to develop the necessary infrastructure to support economic growth and regional trade. The project is part of a broader strategy to modernize the transport sector, which the authorities consider a key driver for facilitating the mobility of people, supporting tourism, and stimulating commercial activities. Located in the northwest of the country, Bahir Dar is a major economic and tourist hub. Improving its airport infrastructure could thus facilitate access to the cities and the surrounding regions while supporting tourism and trade activities. With the opening of this new terminal, the Ethiopian authorities intend to continue their investments in air infrastructure to support traffic growth and strengthen the country's position as a transport and connectivity hub in Africa. For the international scene, a World Health Organization's advisory group recommended a clinical trial in the Democratic Republic of Congo to assess whether the Ervebo vaccines could offer protections against the Bundibugyo strain of the Ebola virus. The Ervebo vaccines was developed to protect against the Zer strain responsible for several major Ebola virus disease outbreaks. However, experts believe it could also provide some protections against the rarer Bundibugyo strains. The proposed trials aims to obtain clinical data on the vaccine's efficacy and safety against these strains, as current knowledge about its ability to protect against the Bundibugyo, which virus remains limited. This recommendation is part of the international effort to strengthen preparedness for Ebola virus disease outbreaking and to rapidly develop prevention tools adapted to the different strains of the virus. In addition to vaccination, the response to Ebola outbreaks relies on early case detection, contact tracing, isolation of infected individuals, medical care, and strengthening infection prevention and control measures. Palestinians and Palestinians in the Gaza Strip continues to face a direct humanitarian situation as diplomatic effort to reach a peace agreement remains installed. This situation comes after Israeli rejections at 15-point peace plan backed by the U.S., casting further doubt on the prospect for a settlement of the conflict. This agreement over the proposed plan further complicates international efforts to achieve a lasting cessation and hostility and pave the way for a political solution. The lack of an agreement raises fears of a prolonged humanitarian crisis in the Palestinian territory and underscores the ongoing difficulties in negotiations aimed at ending the conflict. A magnitude 7.5 earthquake strikes western Colombia, killing 18 people. A powerful earthquake measuring 7.4 on the Richter scale struck the west coast of Colombia on Monday morning, killing at least 18 people and injuring several others, according to Colombian authorities. The quake also caused several buildings to collapse, leaving people trapped under the rubble. The mayor of Pereira told Reuters that the death toll had risen to 18 as rescue operations continue to search for possible survivors and free those trapped beneath the ruins. The Colombian Civil Aviation Authorities also reported damage to 6 airports, leading to the temporary suspensions of the air traffic at these facilities, while damage assessment and safety checks were carried out. In Cali, Mayor Alejandro Elder stated that at least 20 buildings had collapsed as a result of the earthquake. He added that people might still be trapped under the rubble and that rescue teams from Bogota and Medellin had been called into to reinforce searches and rescue operations in the department of Choco. Governor Nubia Carolina Cordoba Curie reported injuries and significant property damage. Authorities have begun assessing the extent of the damage in the regions, according to the governor. Spain and Italy border standoff intensifies amid migration crisis. A migrant who crossed the Spanish borders is escorted by local police toward the Spanish-Moroccan borders for his return to Morocco. Spain announced the implementation of border controls for Italian travelers in response to Rome's decision to impose sanctions on visitors from Spain. This diplomatic dispute between the two countries linked to the influx of tens of thousands of migrants into the Spanish territory of Ceuta intensified on Saturday. According to the official Spanish news agency IFE, Italian arrivals at Barcelona airport were subjected to random police checks after these measures were implemented overnight. The EU, which has 27 member states, has a visa-free movement area known as Schengen area, which allows citizens of most EU countries to easily cross borders for business or tourism. According to the EU, member states are authorized to temporarily reinstate controls at the so-called internal borders of the European Union in the event of a serious threat, such as a threat to internal security. If migrants' arrivals were to recur in Ceuta, Italy would reconsider its decision to impose these controls only once we are certain that there will be no risk to security and terrorist risk for Italy, that there will be no new waves and no irregular migrants will head towards European territory, the statement adds. On Sunday, Nagasaki commemorated the 81st anniversaries of the American atomic bombing that struck this southern Japanese city. Its mayor denounced the growing support for nuclear deterrence within the international community, including in Japan, and demanded that his own government make a stronger commitment to nuclear disarmament. Representatives from more than 90 countries attended a memorial ceremony at Nagasaki Peace Park, where Mayor Shiro Suzuki and Prime Minister Sanae Takeshi, among other guests, spoke. The atomic bomb dropped by the U.S. on Nagasaki on August 9, 1945, killed 70,000 people 3 days after the bombings of Hiroshima, which killed 140,000. Japan surrendered on August 15 in 1945, thus ending World War II and nearly half of centuries of aggression across Asia. And this is it for the news. Thanks for watching us. Have a good evening.